بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم بأنواع كمالتك في جميع تجلياتك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد عور أنوار فائدات من بحور عدمات ذاتي متحقق في عالم بطوني وظهور بمعنى أسماء صفاتي وأول حامد متعبد بعنواه وعبادتي وقرباتي ومده وعلى آله وصحبه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Now you might have a wonky nose and a crooked mouth and a double chin and stick out teeth. But as long as you have beautiful thoughts, they will shine off your face like sunbeams. And you look lovely every day. Or you may have a fine defined nose and eyes like pearls from the depth of the ocean. But you are accustomed to hosting ugly thoughts. A time will come that these thoughts will imprint a darkness upon your face, that to the extent at times it will be next to impossible to glance upon your face. So where do these thoughts come from? Like these ugly thoughts and these beautiful thoughts, where do they come from? That the place, the makhraj, is called the makhraj, the place where these thoughts come from. Where are they from? Qulubana, our hearts. It's a reflection, it's a direction, it's a sign of the state of your spiritual heart. If the heart is healthy, then you will have beautiful thoughts. And if you have an ugly and a diseased heart, and what's going to happen is going to be what? Ugly thoughts. You see, Allah says in the Quran, we have hafiz here as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Yawma, like Yawma la yanfa'u malu wa banu. Now, Yawma, this day of what? A day of separation. It's a day of hope. But for many people, it's a day of what? Of loss. So Allah says, Yawma la yanfa'u. It's a day that nothing will benefit you from what? Malu, like from your wealth. And also from your children. Your children are not going to benefit you on that day. No, your wealth is going to benefit you. Then who's going to benefit? So, Man ata Allah bi qalbi salim. That whoever comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sound heart. But this heart has a name. And this heart is called qalbi Muhammadiyah. Qalbi Muhammadiyah is a heart that is free from any form of sickness and any form of shirk. But this heart is connected to the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's the only way that that heart is a qalbi Muhammadiyah, that this heart yearns to be with Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salatu wa salam. You see, the word qalb in Arabic means heart. But the root word, like the root word for qalb, is something that flips. It flips over. That's what the heart happens. It flips. And you see that in your own lives. You have exams and your heart goes up and down. You have a problem in your life, your faith goes down. You got your drill music and you got your rap music and you got all this happening. It's affecting your heart. It's affecting your iman. So the word for heart is what? Something that flips. This is why Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam would make a supplication. He would say, Ya muqallibah qulub. O you who flips hearts. Like, O you who flips heart, thabbat qalbi. Like, keep my heart firm. Where? Ala dinak. Upon your heart. Keep my heart firm on your way. You see, there was a Abyssinian princess, this beautiful princess from where? from Abyssinia. Beautiful. Right? Black woman. She's a black princess. So when her land was taken, when she was conquered, her land was conquered, she was taken as a slave. Taken where? To Makkah. And when she went to Makkah, she was sold as a slave. And she married another black slave. You got that, you know? Black slave. They have a child, a son. And this son grows up to be extremely handsome. But he's black. Hazel eyes. They say hazel eyes, extremely handsome. But he was black. But he was strong. And he became a slave because his parents were slaves. But in that time, he was abused. He was abused because of his color, because he was black. He was abused because of his social status, because he was a slave. Now this young man decided to grow, but he became stronger and stronger. And the people wanted to have this man as a slave because he's so strong and so handsome. So people were happy to pay him more, but they'll still mock him. And then this man heard about Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His heart was moved. His heart was moved. And he wanted to be with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now look at this now. He becomes a Muslim. Now he's beaten for being black. He's beaten for being a slave. And he's beaten because he's a Muslim. That's a lot to take in one day. To be beaten because of your color, beaten because of your social status, and beaten because of your faith. This man I'm talking to you about is no other than Sayyidina Bilal. Sayyidina Bilal, people don't know that his mother was a princess. You don't know that. His mother was a princess. But this man had a qalbi Muhammadiyah. So even though he was a black man, and even though he was a social status, was a slave, and he was a Muslim, when Sayyidina Bilal walked, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam could hear his sandals in Jannah. He could hear the sandals of Sayyidina Bilal in Jannah. Why? Because his heart was connected to the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, for those who don't know, that as you know, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to leave Makkah. He had to leave Makkah because of the harsh treatment. So he left. Few people left with him. On that day, he left with Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. But when they came back with 10,000 men. After 10 years, Sayyidina Muhammad came, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he came back to Makkah, they surrounded Makkah with 10,000 men. How many? 10,000 men. But that day, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not wearing a white turban. That day he was wearing a black turban. Right? He was wearing a black turban. Normally Sayyidina Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will wear a white turban. But on this day, alayhi salatu wasalam, he came wearing a black turban. And as he came on the camel sallallahu alaihi wasallam with 10,000 men, and they were all tooled up. They were tooled up for action. But as he came in, his noble beard sallallahu alaihi was touching the saddle like this. So he came in riding like this because he knew that the victory was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But look at this now. This is called Qalbi Muhammadiyah. When he arrives in Makkah, and all what he sees, and look who he sees. 10,000 men, but look who he sees. He sees the people who caused the death of Lady Khadija alayhi salam. Like Lady Khadija had to go through stress. She had to go through a lot of problems. The cause of her death was stress. He saw the people who killed Sayyidina Hamza, who were there, who planned to kill Sayyidina Hamza. For those who don't know Sayyidina Hamza, radiyallahu anhu, he is the uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when they found his body, when the Prophet came sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the body of Sayyidina Hamza, and when he saw the body of Sayyidina Hamza cut up, because they removed his ears, they took out from the insides of Sayyidina Hamza. But look at this. When he went, they said, man, he said, Salah, that when Sayyidina Muhammad would do janazah, as you know, everyone here has been to a janazah and how you do janazah, and you do your 4 takbeers and so on. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he read janazah on Sayyidina Hamza 70 times. 70 times janazah was read on the noble body of Sayyidina Hamza. So he saw, Sayyidina Muhammad saw the people who were involved in killing his uncle. But also he saw Lady Khadija's people. The people who stressed out Lady Khadija. Do you know who Lady Khadija is? See, Lady Khadija, the name Khadija means the one who's not complete. Right? But because the Prophet looked at her, when he glanced at her, she became Khadija Kubra. Because of the glance. This is where you get another from. This is called another Muhammadiyah, the glance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Muhammad looked at Sayyidina Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr became Siddiq. The glance of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Muhammad looked at Sayyidina Umar, and Umar became Faruq. He became Faruq. Why? Nadra Muhammadiyah sallallahu alayhi. He looked at Sayyidina Uthman, and Sayyidina Uthman became Ghani. Limada? And to the extent he gave 2 of his daughters. 2 of his daughters to Sayyidina Uthman. And they say if Sayyidina Muhammad had 100 daughters, he will give them one by one to Sayyidina Uthman. One by one. But only because he had the glance of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi. And then you have Sayyidina Imam Ali. Sayyidina Ali became Ali. Why? The Nadra Muhammadiyah. So he gave him who? Fatima. Fatima. Qala alayhi salatu wa salam, Fatima bid'atu minni. The Fatima is part of me. Right? Now he saw that. Now Lady Khadija, you see, Sayyidina Muhammad used to go up the cave. He used to go up the cave, and this was the practice. The first person to go up the cave and sit there was his grandfather, the Muttalib. That's the first person who used to go up there. And Abdul Muttalib would go up there and he would feed the animals. That's what he did. And so Sayyidina Muhammad will go up there, sometimes up to a month. And Lady Khadija will carry food. She will carry food to go all the way to go and give it to her husband, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he saw that this was difficult for Lady Khadija. So he'll come down to meet her halfway, and he'll take the food. Now, as we all know, when Sayyidina Jibril came and he had experience of the Iqra, read. When he came down and he ran, now look at Lady Khadija, right? Look at Khadija. Just before that happened, just before she got married to Sayyidina Muhammad, she had heard rumors in Makkah. Once you're sitting in a gathering only for women, and this Jewish passed by, this Jew, he said, Al-Zaman al-An al-Ahmad, Al-Zaman al-Ahmad, the time has come for the last prophet called Ahmad. And if you get a chance to marry him, marry him. And the women said, move on, move on. While like Lady Khadija, she kept quiet. And Sayyidina Muhammad used to work for Lady Khadija. As you all know, she used to work for Khadija. And one day, she was standing on the top of her house. And Sayyidina Muhammad was coming back from Syria. And he was holding the camel. And next to him was the Khadim. And when he was walking, I mean, what a sight. What a sight. But look what Khadija sees, alayhi salama. She sees Sayyidina Muhammad but she sees two angels coming with Sayyidina Muhammad. This shows the rank of Khadija alayhi salam to see angels. So when he comes down after Iqra and he is frightened of the experience, Lady Khadija says, she stands next to him here, and she says, Hal anta tara? Do you see him now? Do you see him now? And Sayyidina Muhammad goes, Naam, because he could see Jibreel, because Jibreel covered the whole horizon. So Sayyidina Lady Khadija stands on the other side. She said, Hal tara? Do you see him now? Do you see him now? He goes, Naam, I see him. Lady Khadija takes off her hijab. She said, do you see him now? And he goes, no. And she says, Anta Rasul. That you are a prophet. That's Khadija alayhi salam. And once she was coming to give food to her, to give food to Sayyidina Muhammad, Sayyidina Jibreel came. This is, come on guys. Sayyidina Jibreel came to Sayyidina Muhammad and said, Khadija is coming. Give her salams from Allah. So when Khadija enters the room, Sayyidina Muhammad says, Ya Khadija, salam alayya, Allah says salams to you. Now look at the reply. Look at the reply of Lady Khadija. She says, Allahumma anta salam. Oh Allah, you are salam. Wa minka salam. And salam is from you. Wa ta'awudu salam. And salam goes back to you. But ahyana, like give us life with the salam. Wa adkhulna bis salam. And enter us in the abode of peace. And that's Khadija alayhi salam. Now, so when he came back to Makkah, riding this mount, he sees all these men. Where does he go first? He visits the grave of Lady Khadija. He sat at the grave of Lady Khadija and he cried there, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he would say, every time he would mention Khadija, he would say, Khadija. Khadija. That's how he would talk when he talk about Sayyidina Khadija alayhi salam. The same way Sayyidina Muhammad will speak about Sayyidina Muhammad, Sayyidina Abu Bakr will speak about the Prophet, he would say, Habib. Qala Habibi. Hakada. Hakada. That's how it was. That's how it was. But look at this now. He's seen the people who killed Sayyidina Hamza. He's seen the people who took out Sayyidina Lady Khadija alayhi salam. And look what he says, Sayyidina Muhammad. All of you are free to go. You're all free to go. 10,000 men, you're all free to go. And all the people who were involved in killing Sayyidina Hamza, all of you are free to go. This is called Qalbi Muhammadiyah. But next to him, you have the likes of Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Ali. But look at this. All the men are there. Sayyidina Muhammad says, Aina Bilal. Where is Bilal? Where's Bilal? And all the men are there. Major Sahaba are there. Where is Bilal? So they call Sayyidina Bilal. They go, Ja'at the waqt salah. The time of prayer has come. Adhan, give the adhan. Bilal, give the adhan. And they said, where ya Rasulullah? Just fork of Kaaba. That's stand in front of the Kaaba. So Sayyidina Bilal, radiyallahu, he stands, he climbs up the Kaaba. So you have Sahaba, you have the Quraysh who used to mock him and beat him. Now what do you guys see? If you see a black man standing on top of the Kaaba, you miss the point. If you see a slave standing on top of the Kaaba, you miss the point. And when Sayyidina Bilal faced the Prophet, he said, Ya Rasulullah, when we were in Medina, we used to face the Kaaba. But now I'm on top of the Kaaba, who do I face? Sayyidina Muhammad said, face me and give the adhan. This shows to you you have two Qiblas. Qibla al-Jism, that you have a Qibla for the Jism, which is the Kaaba al-Sharifa. But then you have what? You have the Qibla for the Ruh. And that's the Ruh of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet is the Qibla when it comes to spirituality, alayhi salatu wasalam. But what do you see? You don't see a black man top of the Kaaba. what you see is a qalbi Muhammadiyya upon the Kaaba. You see, a heart is above the Kaaba Sharifa. This is why Sayyidina Muhammad says, sallallahu alayhi, it is more severe for you to break a heart of a believer than to smash down the Kaaba. And this believer is who? Is a heart that's connected to the heart of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. So inshallah ta'ala, we will pause here, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah give us khair. Tawfiq, inshallah ta'ala. Qulubana, our hearts are connected to the heart of the Prophet, sallallahu alayhi. While you have a Shaykh,
Allah.
You heard, I said to you before, the idea about the glance, about the nazar. Like you have a nazar. You see, you're sitting here today. You're sitting here today because someone from your family or someone that was outside, a pious person, glanced upon you. And that's why you're sitting here. When you have a shuyukh, this is the face that saw a face.
Allah.
That saw a face. That saw a face. That saw the face of the Prophet Muhammad. You're not going to get that on Google, on Instagram, on your Facebook. We're not in that. We are people of sanad, of change. Change. We take it from the Shaykh. We took it from the Shaykh. We took it from the Shaykh. We took it from the Prophet. If the chain breaks anywhere, we don't even look at you. We don't even look at you. So alhamdulillah, Allah give us hayy. Hayya qulubana, Allah give us hayy. He gives our hearts that are connected to the heart of the Prophet. Allahumma salli wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi